everyone. Thank you very much for downloading. This is a special edition. We are live in Brooklyn, New York, actually at Buffalo Wild Wings, just hours before Monday Night Raw goes on the air from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. God help me, day 3 of this extravaganza. My 3 days were a little different than my buddy at this time. You heard him last time on a broken phone connection, but he's here today, Glen Notaro. Glenn, what's up?
Hey, nice to be here, especially here live in Brooklyn, New York, for day number 3 myself here at the Barclays Center.
It's been a trek, to say the least. Now, here's how things are different. We both went to SummerSlam. We're both going to Raw. But Saturday night, I went to Ring of Honor, Field of Honor at MCU Park, where Glenn went to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. And the only reason why I was not at NXT is because those tickets went on sale after the fact. But let's do this. First of all, let's do it in order. How was NXT?
It was amazing. Awesome experience. I was lucky enough to be there, and especially to get the tickets during the American Express pre-sale.
Yeah, you had awesome seats, not for nothing.
Yeah, it was not bad for $45, right?
Those were $45 seats?
$45 seats.
Because of the American Express or because it's NXT?
NXT, probably.
That's pretty... Oh, so they didn't make money on NXT TakeOver.
Probably not. You know?
All right. I watched later when I got home. I kind of fast-forwarded, but how that crowd looked hot in the Barclays Center Saturday night.
They were hot outside the event, hot before the event actually went on, and throughout the whole night, even during the pre-taping, they were hot, and actually seemed a little bit hotter inside there than it was for SummerSlam. I
forgot they taped an episode of NXT before. All right. How was the NXT experience? How was it being at one of those shows? Granted, it being TakeOver versus just any other WWE show.
Just the crowd in itself, you could tell it was like an NXT type of crowd.
Almost even more hardcore.
Exactly. It was sort of like the ECW type of crowd, and I'll even say TNA crowd that we experienced in New York City. But just to see these people was just amazing that you don't get to see in Full Sail University.
And it just seemed like the way the action was. Like I fast-forwarded through some of it. I watched the NXT Tag Title match, the Vaudevillains, Blake and Murphy. I mean, just the reaction of Blue Pants.
Yeah, exactly. It was just amazing. Blue Pants got like a standing ovation. Sort of like when Stone Cold or The Rock would come out. It was just an amazing experience.
To me, it seems like the fan base for NXT is more like, we love this. It's wrestling, and probably because a certain someone does not have his finger on the pulse of NXT.
Exactly. Well, we all know who that certain someone is. Happy 70th birthday out there today, by the way.
The birthday boy today.
But we do know who has their hands on it. I've had my ups and downs with him throughout the years.
Triple H, of course.
But I think he's doing well with this, and I can't wait till he takes over WWE.
I think so too. But NXT, from what I saw, definitely. It was your first NXT show?
Yes.
Okay. Now on the flip side, I was at Field of Honor, Ring of Honor, which is only my third Ring of Honor show. My first was Field of Honor last year. But it's just Field of Honor. It's just on a baseball field. This time next year will be a pay-per-view. But Ring of Honor was phenomenal. They brought in guys from New Japan, Nakamura, the Rainmaker Okada, Hiroshi Goto, I think. We had front row, and it wasn't televised, it wasn't NXT, but Ring of Honor is like almost pure wrestling. And as much as I regret not going to NXT, I would have regretted not going to Ring of Honor if I did get the NXT tickets. Have you been to Ring of Honor?
No, I haven't had the chance yet, but I'm hopefully one day down the line get a chance to go.
No, definitely. Next time it's in the area, we got to go. And anyone listening, if you catch Ring, I don't know if you were at Field of Honor, we were sitting next to some maniac who was just vilely screaming at Unbreakable Michael Elgin. I don't know why. It's like Elgin punched his mother in the face. It was wild. He was sitting next to my father. So, all right. So I mean, and I got pictures on my Facebook and Instagram and everything from Field of Honor. And if you know Glenn, I'm sure you can find the pictures that he has posted up there. So, Field of Honor was its own thing with ROH. Thank you very much. And then, NXT was its own thing. I'm going to let these cool off just a little bit. So now let's get to the big show, the big 4-hour extravaganza for the first time in, 6 years? It finally made it to the East Coast? Something like that? Yeah, for about 5 or 6 years, it was at the Staples Center. Meanwhile, this is my third SummerSlam in 4 years, so there you go. But it was SummerSlam. What was your thought overall? What were your thoughts on SummerSlam?
I really, really enjoyed the show overall. Sitting in the crowd, where my seats were, and what I experienced with the fans going back and forth every time a big spot happened. I was able to see it on the screen. I loved it. It was a very good pay-per-view or network event, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, right, live event. Have you been to the other SummerSlams in New York?
In New York, yes. Nassau Coliseum, the Garden for '98, and the Izod Center in 2007.
We don't count the Izod Center.
Yeah, that thing.
I thought SummerSlam was phenomenal. Overall, we're going to get into it in a moment. Some of the little choppy spots that we weren't too crazy about. Not spots, but just... All right, let's get right to the elephant in the room. What the hell happened in the main event? Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. Great rematch, don't get me wrong. And these two, look, you're not looking for, Hurricanranas and stuff like that. It was physical, but the ending was just... Did you know... All right, spoiler alert. Here we go. Let's throw it out there. Spoiler alert, but by the time you're listening to this, you should know what happened. Undertaker beat Brock Lesnar by submission, technically. Brock tapped out, but Brock had Taker in the Kimura, and then the bell rung, which for the first time in 100 years of professional wrestling, the timekeeper decided to ring the bell because he saw the Undertaker tap. The ref did not see the Undertaker tap. Did you know the Undertaker tapped when the bell rang, or did you thought it was a botch?
I thought it was a botch myself. I had no idea what was going on in that main event.
We all thought it was a botch. I was trying to. It didn't make. There's the bell rung, and what stinks is, and there was a stinker. The Divas match.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
Well, it wasn't Sasha and Bayley.
No, not at all. Not at all. But they were given their time and whatnot. But they put on a decent match, and what we would probably originally have seen from the Divas. But overall, they did a good job. Better than what we've seen in the past from the Bellas and whatnot. But they're coming in their own.
That popper was a lot hotter than I thought it was. But you take the good, you take the bad. We always have. But you got to admit, when that bell rang, the first bell, it completely took the wind out of the Barclays.
Oh, definitely. I overheard people yell like Montreal screw job. I originally thought maybe it was Kane coming back from the authority figure that he was, coming back maybe ringing the bell saying the match is over. But I think we need Mark Eubank, I think is his name. So maybe he'll make his surprise return tonight.
Honestly, there was a new guy. Yeah, the new guy.
Yeah, they released him years ago.
Would you say that's probably the biggest letdown of the night?
Yes, definitely.
Even bigger than Jon Stewart screwing John Cena out of the U.S. Championship?
Oh, most definitely. That was a highlight of the night. But that ending for that pay-per-view left a lot of people flat and deflated. And on the train ride home, people were like, well, that just sucked overall.
Yeah. And it stinks because all that was built up so good to something kind of crappy. But overall, though, it was great. What do you think about the whole Jon Stewart angle? As we know, Seth Rollins is the new United States champion and the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, thanks to Jon Stewart, who ran into the ring with a chair, waited about 35 seconds, and then attacked John Cena.
Well, hopefully he's on the show tonight.
Actually, he is. Yeah, my dad said. My dad was with me when we were at the bar, and my cousin. My dad was so mad because Jon Stewart came out, and basically he was like, it was a title match. It should have ended cleanly. It's my father who does not watch wrestling. And he's like, Jon Stewart is a piece of you-know-what.
Well, maybe David Letterman will come out tonight, and we'll get the results that we should have gotten from last night.
Do you mind a world title match ending like that? Especially with the heel winning?
No. I actually preferred Seth Rollins winning. Unfortunately, it had to be on the hands of Jon Stewart.
No, that's what I mean. Do you have a problem with that interference? Whether it been Jon Stewart or just like J&J Security or anybody?
A little bit. It would have been nice to see Seth Rollins go over cleanly over Cena, but I just wish the spot where John Cena was hit with the chair, Jon Stewart didn't have his hand over the top to actually hit Cena in the belly, and Cena didn't move first.
My problem was just it took too long,
and
I blame that on Cena. I don't blame that on Jon Stewart.
Exactly. After a while, you kind of knew what was happening. Anytime somebody runs into the ring, that guy's turning heel. But something to do after the Daily Show.
Yeah. Well, he's here tonight during Raw. Any match stand out particularly that you really thought was phenomenal during SummerSlam?
Believe it or not, the tag title match, that was really good. It had a lot of great moves in the match, a lot of spots.
I agree with you there.
For Big E, the crowd was into it.
Big E was awesome.
That's it. Even before him, with them doing their little sing-along, sing-song and dance, they were all 4 teams put on a great show.
It seems like the fans are now going against Vince McMahon. Vince wanted the New Day. Everyone hated him. Vince turns him heel. Everybody loves him. Or it could be New York crowd because Roman Reigns got booed out of the building.
Yes, he did. You know, his music hit and just people just booed.
I was not expecting that at all.
Sort of like Saturday night at NXT. I don't want to spoil anything, but Eva Marie got booed out the building.
That's not spoiling anything at all.
Pretty much like that.
I mean, Roman hasn't been booed like since Mania.
So I think it's just the New York crowd.
New York, where it's vile. My buddy, friend of mine, who used to be in the business, he moved to LA years ago. Born and raised in Brooklyn. Went out there, started a great life for himself. It's awesome. I love that he's out there. He's doing what he wants to do. He came back to New York for a year. When he came back and we realized his friendship base, right over here. Thank you. Thank you. His LA friends were like, "Oh, good luck, have fun." But when he left LA, but we'll miss you. This and the other thing. When he left New York, his Brooklyn friends, who he was born and raised with, we could have punched him in the face and we would have been nicer. His Brooklyn friends are just vile. I don't know where I was going. Can we get utensils? Thank you. I forgot where I was going with this tirade that I went on.
Friends, you were gonna punch your friend in the face?
Well, no, but just Brooklyn. His Brooklyn friends are horrible. The crowd, the Brooklyn crowd. Okay. Yeah, it's a New York crowd. It's whether at Nassau Coliseum, the Garden, or the Barclays. It's a New York crowd, and it's probably one of the best crowds who will tell it like it is. Us, Chicago, Boston, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, they've been pretty loud.
I don't know about LA though.
Canada, maybe.
Oh yeah, well, Montreal.
And then the UK. Plus, we had a lot of probably European people there last night.
True, it was kind of like a WrestleMania vibe a little bit.
Definitely. So I'm hoping we get that same crowd reaction tonight.
Yeah, me too. And that's pretty much, our food's here. So we kind of did that. But overall, great way. I mean, it was 3 days of wrestling. You went to the Barclays all 3 times. I think the ownership is going to give you, maybe a job application. I don't know.
Definitely. I could maybe get security in there somehow. Move the lines a little bit quicker than what they are. Get people a little more organized. Get through that airport security.
Thank you very much. Honestly, it was a madhouse yesterday. But all right, there you go. And you can look it all up, of course, on the network. NXT Takeover Brooklyn, definitely watch it. WWE SummerSlam was great. Raw is on the USA Network. You have to wait 30 days. Field of Honor is on demand through ROHWrestling.com. Definitely watch that. But all in all, we're going to enjoy our food, enjoy a night of Monday Night Raw, and then that's going to be it for a little while. So thank you very much for joining in person this time around.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
No problem. All right, everybody, enjoy your whatever. We're going to enjoy wings and chicken, and then Monday Night Raw. See you guys later.